Awesome, guys. Hello, welcome back, and GM to everyone. And now we are on the last day for our spotlight, which is our wrap up AMA for Champions Ascension. So it has been a really good week. Definitely for everyone who has been playing Champions Ascension, and we have seen a lot of participation. From everyone in the community like Noisiel, the Knights, Beeb, Senpu, Fallen AC, Blake, everyone was in the hype. Everyone was in killing old Sally and everyone was trying to do the PvPs. And now we are here to discuss a lot of things about Champions Ascension, maybe some leaks or maybe other things, anything about Champions Ascension. And we have a special guest right here, which is Blake. What's up? What's up?
What's up, guys?
Blake
What's
is
up?
the community manager for Champions Ascension. So, hi, say hi to our community.
Hey, guys. Hey. Yeah, happy to chat a little bit of Champions Ascension today. I'm excited to hear about Old Sally events that you guys have to say about it.
Definitely. Been a good
That
time,
was sick.
no doubt. We're in sync.
We're in sync.
Good stuff. Yeah, but it's good to have you, man. Excited to dive into Champions Ascension again. It was a great time, playing with you a week back.
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
Fallen.
we got
It
to
was fun.
battle us. Yeah, it was good. It was good. That one, you guys got to be my first. I didn't get to play it ahead of time, like the very first session or whatever, because I was holding down the fort. It's nice to get in and jump in with some of you guys. I got to play a little bit
Yeah, it was a good time.
yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, did you end up clearing old Sally again, or was it all just PvP for you?
I think we had 6 attempts yesterday, and we killed him 3 of the 6 attempts yesterday. Some all the team members got together, all the community team members got together, and we knocked it out. It was fun.
Nice,
A lot of
nice,
them hadn't
nice.
done it at all, so
GG.
Oh, so it was first time for them trying something they kind of created, right? And it was seeing how well it worked.
well, it was just all the community people with me. So obviously the devs have tried it a bunch of times, but yeah, 3 of the community people hadn't even gotten to try it yet. So it was nice jumping in for their first times. It's strategies that everybody comes up with out of the door, everybody's got big plans.
Yeah. What was your go-to? Did you kind of tell them the strategy we used, which was lots of balls and then one night keeper?
No, I didn't interject at all. I was I'll play keymaster if somebody doesn't want to do that, but I was you guys play what you want to play, because everybody wants to do their own thing, we had a lot of people oh, I'm gonna play this, it's definitely gonna work, a few times in there, I see why everybody plays AOS, but
yeah.
a lot of the fast times that happened yesterday ended up their composition, so it was nice, everybody kind of gravitates towards the one that they saw won first after the first day, but really the people that got creative, I think, are the people that ended up having the fastest times, mixing and matching different classes and things like that. I do think that the AOS is the easy way out.
It's the easy and it's the safe way. It's the if you want that guaranteed almost, it's pretty easy because what did we do? We ran it 3 times yesterday with a bunch of people that hadn't necessarily played it before. I think we did it 2 back-to-back without anyone dying. So that was an achievement in itself.
Yeah, I know some
once you realize you need to be
communities,
patient.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go
man.
ahead.
No, the floor is yours.
I was just going to say, most of the time, when you realize you need to be patient, it all clicks. It's okay, you don't have to kill them in 2 seconds. You know what I mean? Take your time, just avoid the spikes, and you'll be good.
Yeah,
Definitely.
don't get bit.
Yeah, it's a
just
challenge.
play it safe.
But there
play
are
it
some
safe.
communities that have been doing some creative things with the team comps. I saw earlier today that the TPS guild, the Prime Syndicate, they did it with all Ilgras. Apparently, they're the only team so far, if you can confirm that. But yeah, it looks like it was a good time.
Yeah, they're certainly the first that I've seen that do that. I don't know if maybe some people try to copy him after. Yeah, Ilger was a cool one where he can stop her from charging. That's kind of a cool one. Yeah, but I mean, not being able, you can't avoid anything. I couldn't get the Ilger down. I was oh man, I'm too slow.
Yeah, it's definitely a tanky hero, slower, heavier attacks.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, no dodge. I mean, come on, so hard.
I'm actually quite curious. What was probably the most interesting lineup that you see that actually was able to brought down Old Sally? Like, most of the people are actually using like a single class, right? A single EOS or like what Noisas have mentioned, Ilgra. So, is there a team that was able to clear Old Sally using a single unique hero per class? Like their entire party is different classes.
I mean, there's two shout outs that I want to give. The first one was the person that soloed first with Whisperer. That, I mean, that's tough to do. I mean, melee hero soloing first, like, I mean, that was tough. And then there was another team. I think it was Keymaster and Karkadon, and they beat it like very quickly, and only 3 players. Like, this was like one of the first teams that beat it, and they didn't have any AOs. They didn't, they like we're 2 men down. That was like one of the most impressive ones. I mean, I wish they would have been streaming, because I would have loved to go back and like watch that one, because that was like before people figured it out. Like what was the Karkadon doing the whole time? Like, like I'm curious to see how much damage they were able to put out, like during that fight, because there is an in-range timer, so you can't just go on and forever and ever and ever. So yeah, that's the one that the Karkadon, Keymaster, and the Whisper, like early on, I would have liked to see how they played it. I was very impressed. They weren't even like a core group of players from our community. They were members from Wildcard. So I gave a lot of kudos, because they like picked it up and had a strange comp, I thought, and they were able to take it down.
They did their thing. Nice.
Yeah, I'm impressed. I was impressed.
And I think this is what's gonna happen moving forward in the game, right? When the people actually figures out how the mechanics work, they can actually try to experiment more on the compositions or more on the lineups that they can actually do. So if I'm not mistaken, the first few lineups that were able to clear Old Sally was a full stack of EOS, right? And now you have mentioned that there was a party that cleared it with only 3 players, and imagine the challenges that they inflict on themselves. Like someone might be able to solo it sometime in the future, or just do a duo queue for this one. So it's actually really interesting, and it is how the games are actually meant to be played. And props to the entire Champions Ascension team for this good launch one. Clapping their hands. And yeah, so another thing that has been launched for this week is the player versus player aspect of the game. Like initially it was more focused on the old Sally and the monsters, right? So right now, what are the challenges that we are currently facing, or what are your experiences so far on player versus player?
So what I've seen in the player versus player, that a lot of the feedback that we've been getting is the game was originally based, around like a ability to react to people, right? You want to be able to like defend to certain attacks and things like that. But for some people, that feeling the back end is a little too slow, right? And the addition to PvE mechanics, you don't want to have like slow reactions, right? To like any PvE mechanic, right? It's just not how you want to do it. I was going to say, one of the things, the challenges that the team is doing right now is trying to upgrade the speed of the game. So we're kind of messing around with tweaking like the overall, just the speed of literally everything. So like just every movement 20% faster, like every action. Like, so that's one of the things that we really want to try to dive into now, is see how much can we speed up the game to where it still gives a good feedback loop for like, like reacting to people. So one of the other things that we're having to like kind of mess with right now is like the counter attacking, like the breaking of combos. So right now we had some finicky issues with that. That's going to be something, a big focus is, so if we speed up the game, we really need that counter to work properly. I'd say that's the biggest challenge right now. We want to speed up the game to where people don't go, oh, that little clunky, I felt like a long time between my hits, and like we got to get rid of that. We need people to feel like it's a fluid bam 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 bam, matches maybe a little bit faster, things like that. Just everything, just make it a little bit faster. That's one of the big focuses right now.
Yeah, that's something I was actually joking with the guys earlier. Is like I was getting put up against diamond guys, and they were just chaining unstoppable combos, and I couldn't even get a single hit in. I was like, oh god, like how am I supposed to compete here, right?
Yeah. As soon as we can break those combos a little bit faster, a little bit cleaner, and also there's the speed of the game. If you can hit 7 times, times and the speed of the game is like slower, it's going to feel like you're out of control like for a long time. You know what I mean? Like speed of the game, the hits are fast. You don't feel like you're taken out of combat as long. So yeah, that's going to be a big thing that we're working on. Yeah. We hear you. I mean, that's like literally why. Go ahead.
Sure. I was just about to comment that it was actually nice for the team to actually have this open beta, right? So we can actually adjust the things that we need to adjust. And once the game is actually launched, everything is already fine tuned and everything is already up to speed. Like what you guys have mentioned, the pacing of the battles in the PvE and the PvP should actually be different. Like the experience is somewhat identical, but it should be still a different experience. And I definitely agree on that one. Maybe you guys can actually comment out like Fallen's for a lot of diamond tier of people who is actually really good. Like what was probably your worst or your best experience so far on player versus player? Because we have tackled on the launch of our AMA more about old Sadi. So maybe we can dwell around more on the player versus player aspect of the game right now, and maybe we can venture also afterwards on the esports side, since we already have the glimpse of how player versus player is gonna be, right?
So what is it like? My best thoughts on the PvP and my worst thoughts on the PvP recently. Is that kind of where we're going? My experiences.
Yeah, probably.
I'm relatively new to the team. So I've been here about 3 weeks. So my experience with PvP isn't as substantial as it is with the PvE aspects. I will say that one of the things that we are like highly focused on that I have felt like we still need to do is like the 1v1 balancing. So, I feel like the 3v3, when everybody brings in a different character, like it's a little more dynamic. You have a lot more range of things that you can use, I feel like, in the 3v3 because, different like characters will complement other ones. Whereas the 1v1, I think, is tough. Like as we're rolling out more of them, like shout out to Finrer, who's coming, another playable class very, very soon, hopefully in the next couple of weeks. It's hard. Yeah, it's hard to balance the characters like as they keep rolling out for 1v1, but that is something that we're like keeping in the back of our head. Like I have a lot of fun with Eos, like that's one of the characters I like, but if I blink in and like I'm playing against an Ilgra and it's almost like a one combo thing. I'm like, okay, well, I had a good time, but this guy just wrecked me, I would say that's like my worst experience right now is like just the Ilgra, like 1v1 matchup for me is awful. Like, yeah, gosh.
That's exciting. I actually have an Earth Fenrir, so excited to know that the Fenrir is going to be coming soon. Let's go.
Yeah.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
This is one.
I gotta pick one up.
Yeah, this is one of the main challenges of almost a lot of the games, right? When they actually introduce a new character, playable character, is the balancing and how you can actually incorporate it on the existing champion pool, right? So this is actually quite interesting. Maybe we can do more leaks about Fenrir, or are we not allowed to talk about it?
I haven't gotten my hands on Fenrir, so I do not have anything cool that I can like spill for it. I do know that it's like very, very soon though. I've heard tons and tons of talk. I think we were trying to see if we could squeeze it in, but Old Sally was just such an event we needed to focus on that. So yeah, I know it's very, very soon. It's definitely like before the Maestro Towers and things like that.
Time to speculate.
Yeah.
I just want to shout out, there's a mention in the community for a champion giveaway. There's actually a giveaway going on called the Earl Aegis Battle of 1,000 Cuts. Blake, if you want to touch on that, I know there's an elemental up for grabs and a pet and so on going on with that event today. Is there still time to register, or what's going on there?
Ooh, that's a good, I'm actually not sure. Like, so I was letting Wako cover that. Let's see.
Nice. But the community can check it out on the Champions IO Twitter page, and it looks like there's a link there to register.
Yeah, I would just jump into that one. It starts at 7 tonight, I think is the 7 tonight Eastern. So 7 p.m. Eastern. So what is that? That's about 7.5 hours from now. Okay, so if anybody's going to be around 7.5 hours from now, definitely something to go check out for sure. And then I provided a link in the private chat that maybe you can get out, like we're doing a YGG specific event with 1,000 Matic up for grabs. So that's like signups right there that I sent in the private chat. So definitely get that out to some people. We're excited to have you guys. Like we're excited to sponsor a main event around you guys. I've seen a ton of you guys coming out, and we want to like reward you guys for hanging out in Massina.
Nice.
Yeah, maybe Fallen. We actually discussed this before the show actually started, like the event of YGG invades Massina. So maybe we can discuss more details about the quest so people can actually prepare on what to do for this event since it has already been leaked. So might as well give out all the details to our fellow community members.
Yeah, so I think we're still workshopping a little bit the ideas with the Champions team. We wanted to drive some more hype around Champions itself. It's great to hear that their team is working so diligently with ours to create events like this and pull people in. So there obviously is a highlight on the gap quest that we have there. There's the one gap quest for beating old Sally without any of your team dying. And then there's the other one for, what is it, 10 wins in 3v3. And as far as I know, we're pulling data straight from the API. So again, that needs to be confirmed, but definitely pushing those. And then I think from what we were talking about there is they wanted to kind of have like this friendly competition between YGG and the Wardens team there, your in-house guild, the world first guys there. And I guess drum up some competition. Maybe the Wardens don't have enough like steady high level competition there, and the Champions team's like, come on, we gotta push these guys. So they've been saying if a YGG member goes up against like a Wardens member, and you beat the YGG member beats the Wardens member, they will be winning like 10 Matic or something if you can beat the Wardens member. So some friendly competition there. We'll have the actual concrete details later in the week. Hopefully actually at the beginning of the week, because maybe Blake, you can touch on this too. I'm sure next week you guys have a whole opening schedule again, kind of similar to this week, where you'll have like time slots where people can come try out 1v1 3v3s and old Sally again.
Yeah. So I do have a little bit of feedback I can give. So, I mean, yes, we have the in-house guild Wardens, obviously some of the best competitors. You guys will be rewarded for defeating some of them, but we're actually targeting the top 20 MMR in general. So it doesn't necessarily have to be like the Wardens, So anybody in the top 20 as far as MMR goes, and we'll kind of scale that if like some of them are not going to be available, we'll add more or whatever. So the top MMR people are going to be the targets as well as other YGG members. So if you can defeat them, you're going to be earning Matic. That stuff's going to be accumulating. Some of the other things, like there's going to be some mini games. We're hopefully going to have like a lightning tournament. But all that stuff's going to like add up. So, all these different little miniature achievements, you'll be adding, a little bit of Matic to your wallet, basically. So yeah, top 20 MMR, other YGG members, some mini games, and then hopefully we do a little lightning tournament. That's the information that I have right now that I think we've like ironed out, and then maybe they'll add a few more when it's a little bit closer to the event.
That's really
cool.
good. Yeah, sure, go Paul.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I like that. It makes it a little bit simpler than being like, okay, I'm hunting for a Wardens member. It's like, okay, I just need to beat the top 20 MMR guys and go with that. So yeah, you actually have a little bit more fleshed out details than I do.
Nice. Good
It's
stuff.
actually quite fun when you put bounties on the head of people on the MMR list. Like everyone who's on the top 20 is up for grabs, and you actually need to perform quite what they call this consistent. You need to be consistent to maintain your spot on the leaderboard, and the leaderboard actually changes, right? So the
yeah.
people that you actually hunt out on the PvP actually depends on the performance of the people on the leaderboard, and it actually brings a lot of competition and probably something that a small glimpse of what we can see on how Champions Ascension can actually implement esports in a way, right? Aside from the tournaments, most likely. So this is probably one of the leaderboard aspect and how we can actually motivate the new players to actually grind, Fury crap, invest on the skills on how to perform better in the game. So props to the game as well.
For sure. Yeah, I'm honestly enjoying the whole like combat experience so far. Like I like how Champions Ascension has focused on one element specifically for a good amount of time. You know, the community has had time to play the game, get comfortable, give feedback. It evolved, and now we're at the point where raids are being introduced. We have old Sally, and elements continue to be added. So I'm looking forward to like the open world aspect, like actually doing some adventure quests out here and yeah, exploring Massina, right? But so far, the taste of combat has been great. I'm loving it. I can't wait to see what's next.
Yeah, I think the team is really excited how Old Sally turned out too, with like the 9,000 people watching during the 3XP stream. Like, I think that it showed that it's a good like game to watch. You know what I mean? So I think that they will definitely be like leaning into that more. We've actually been discussing internally like what do we call ourselves? You know, like what style of game are we? You know? So I think we're kind of stuck on like arena battleground RPG right now because we want to have like the times that we're on stage, you know, to be like meaningful, like big boss events, like big like tournament style things, like big, you know. But we also want to flush out the world a lot with the RPG element, you know. Like that's why we did like the audio book for Old Sally like before it came out. That's why if you look on our website, we have a ton of the lore available. So I mean, if you guys have any suggestions for the title, I'm all ears. You know, we feel like it's a little bit different of a genre than it's just like a battler or like
Yeah.
we're really trying to like to find our lane and seeing that the excitement for the like on stage presence at 3xp. I think that was an eye opener for the team to kind of embrace that. You know, like we want there to be like staging style events. You know what I mean? So I think that's something that the team is going to be like focusing on as well.
It feels like at this point and knowing with like adventure coming into it, it is like if we gotta create a term for it, maybe a MOBA adventure RPG, something like that. I don't know. It's got a few
Or
elements
jot that
going
one
on.
down. See how that one flows at the next meeting.
You heard it first here, guys. You heard it first
Some
here. No
ideas.
I mean,
ACLs.
dude, we'll give you a shout out. You title. Yeah. We're
Appreciate that.
definitely always trying to hear back from like what people think about it. You know. I mean, that's why I was brought on in general. You know, even though I'm a community role, like the big focus for me is I want to hear from you guys. Like I want to hear from community. I want to hear from anybody that like I want to hear all the pain points, and I want to be able to facilitate those things being fixed or addressed. That's like really why I'm here. So if anybody ever has something they need to say, positive, negative, anything, come into the Champions Discord and like find me. My wife bought this. Blake, just come talk to me. I take calls with people all the time. I'm always open to, messages open a ticket at me. Like that's really why I'm here. Is we want this to be as fun as possible. You know what I mean? And that's why we're building it in the open in Web3. I mean, if we didn't want to hear from you, like we could do a Web2 game and just be shuttered and hire a few people to test. Like that's not what we're doing. You know what I mean? So I want to be sure that everybody understands that that's really what we're trying to leverage. Anybody that feels like they have something to say, like come see me. We'll see what we can do. You know what I mean?
Agreed, agreed. And definitely it was a really nice touch for you actually guys to incorporate a live stream, especially on the first few parts of the event. And it was actually really nostalgic. Like it was like me playing my first time on Ragnarok online, doing the first boss fight of my life, everyone swarming around on the boss, and that feels probably the same thing as the spectators are feeling. Like they're trying to figure out how the mechanics work, they're trying to figure out what is the best composition to take down Old Sally. And this is what Champions Ascension spark probably to everyone here on the YGG community. And it was a really nice touch. We have good lore, we have a good gameplay, we had good player versus enemy aspect, we have good player versus player aspect, and it is still on the development. There's still a lot of things going on, and this is what's good with you guys. You actually do listen. Like you have mentioned that the team is actually all ears to suggestions, to criticisms, and a lot of things. And guys, everyone here on the AME right now, if you have any questions or anything to throw to Blake, throw it right now. This is the proper avenue for that one.
Yeah, I just want to add another highlight talking about the live event at 3XP. Like, I was watching it, we were watching the stream before we went in. Fallen and I and Bibbs was here as well, some of the community And just the community building aspect, like there were over 30 communities, right, that came out. I know there were some of the most well-known creators in the space, like Bryson, Spike, and Stash, and we had Indie GG involved and other games like in the space as well, not only guilds. So it was like really a huge event to like solidify like the Web3 communities here, and things are happening, right? And it's just getting better. So yeah, I'm loving it.
Yeah, we've covered a lot of games, and I can't really remember another game that's kind of pulled like this world first, which is very common in Web 2 games, right? Diablo just had their race to 100, right? All of these different things, which is very common. I remember doing it back again. I always harken back to World of Warcraft, right? We always had the world first raids and stuff. So it's pretty prevalent in gaming, but Web 3, like we have this opportunity to really push that to the next level. And I haven't seen many games kind of pushing that race like you guys did. So yeah, kudos again to the Champions team on that.
Yeah, shout out to Hyro and all the devs. I mean, a lot of them were hardcore, WoW players back in the day. Alliance, of course, and they really wanted to embrace that like world first kind of race. And I think that it's something that like just was very well received. And like you said, like it's you don't really see it a lot in the Web3 space. So that's definitely something that we think we found our niche there, and we want to keep leveraging that. It was a lot of fun.
Definitely, the team actually set a standard for most of the Web trees right now. So it is actually a really high standard to beat, and you guys are still improving. And let's see on what's gonna happen once it officially launches. And I'm really excited about that. And maybe we can also try now to ask some of the community questions that we have gathered. Maybe Blake, you can answer some of them because some of it are really game specific and probably not yet known to some players. So, Senpu, I think you can start asking some of the questions.
Yeah. So we have one question here from Bibs. This is regarding the old Sally rewards. So can we track the total number of teeth that we get whenever we've slain old Sally? Because I think after defeating we cannot see the total number of teeth that we've gathered.
Yes, that was definitely some feedback that we gave early on. I mean, I think that was kind of just a little bit of an oversight on, leading up to the event. It just got like overlooked. People obviously want to see that. I'm hoping that we're just going to have it added in the top area where your tickets are. That's definitely something that we'll be rolling out. If we don't get it added directly like that, when we add in the vendor will then at least show you what your total is. But yeah, we can definitely understand concern. We're all with you on that frustration. We all want to know as well. I'm hoping that that'll get rolled out like relatively quickly, the tracker for that.
Yeah, so I'm happy to hear that because yeah, we were so confused before, like how much do we have? And I think there is a certain number of teeth that is required in order for us to get the NFTs. Is there any released number of teeth that we need in order for us to exchange it for the NFT?
I have unfortunately not seen what the amounts are going to be. I think that was, it's going to be sort of an adjustment on like whenever they finalize like all the different like prizes or like things that are going to be available for that. As soon as that's available, we'll get that tweeted out. Hopefully. Yeah, I'm curious as well. I got some teeth to spend.
Yeah, in other words, grind as many teeth as you can.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, obviously.
You gotta get back in there. Need more.
Yep, I think that's all for now. And
Is it? Actually, I've seen a few more. So Munchie's had a good one. Are we going to have like a win-loss tracker KD ratio for different, obviously like 1v1s, 3v3s? Is that something the team's thinking about?
The team has actually been talking about adding like tracking data in general. So I don't know if any of you guys got to play the free for all. Did you guys get to play the free for all? Like
I played quite a bit.
Perfect. This week we just added stats for free for all. So now you can see, and we added stats for 3v3 as well. So you can see, like how much damage you did, how many killing blows you had, like the winner is tracked, things like that. So as we're tracking that and providing it to you, we're also going to try to add another layer. We've actually internally been talking about maybe launching a website. Just like all these big websites, right? That pop up like Dota, for example. Like if you want
Yep.
stats for Dota 2, I mean, you can get on. You can find literally everything. So a lot of the players like are really like numbers driven people. So we've kind of like thought about that, and we are gonna debate maybe like launching a website that's like a data version of this, so that we can kind of can really dig into numbers. Like, like if I'm keymaster, like how often do I beat Ilgra in like 1v1? Like we want to like have all that stuff like available for you guys.
Yeah.
So that is like something that we've discussed, and that is like
Nice.
definitely something that we've gotten like I guess some traction on, and that's something that we're looking into. We'd want to have that like big website where you can come and just any random thing that pops in your head. I want to know this. A few minutes later or a few seconds later, I hope you have like anything that you possibly want, right? And like I also want to get some of the stuff flushed out for the new players. Like when you jump in, you don't really know a lot of the combos, right? I want you to be able to, like, when you're not in the game, I want you to be able to look up like, okay, next time I play, I want to be able to try this, and this. Whereas like sometimes now, if you're in a game, you might not experiment much because kind of like are intensely fighting, right? Well, I want you to be able to like look offline before you go into combat. Like, this is the stuff that I want to do next time. This is the stuff I want to try. Like, yeah. So we were definitely hearing that, and we'd like to provide a lot more information for you guys, for sure.
Awesome. And I think it is kind of similar to some of the games right now wherein they have like a champion leaderboard. Like they're going to be like the top one on their area or probably on their country. And it actually drives the player to perform better on certain heroes, right? Like champions. And
Yeah.
I think this is actually good. Like what you have mentioned, you guys are planning to create like an analytics driven website wherein you can see a lot of stats. And actually, sometimes people actually do say that stats doesn't matter that much, right? But there is a study on how they actually get to those numbers, and definitely it is something that can actually pump up more on the esports or competitive side of the game. Like this player, the gameplay can study the gameplay based on the numbers alone, and people love numbers, like you have mentioned. And this is definitely something fun to watch because it has been implemented on other games as well. Why not implement it on this game as well?
I think what would be cool is like if we had an in-depth database, like you mentioned, a lot of games have done this over the years. I always like the fact that you could go on the database and search other users' IDs and see their stats as well and things like that, right? And compare and compete with your friends and guilds and so on, right? But if you have that element in depth where we can go and track each other and compete, maybe even form our own groups and challenges, we can do things outside of Champions Ascension as well for structuring quests and events and tournaments and so on for specific milestones within the stats, and it can all be easily tracked. So yeah, I like the idea of the database. I hope you guys give us some goodies in that regard.
That's good. That's good feedback. Like, I actually hadn't thought of any sort of like social hub added into the stats, but maybe that is something that we could look into. Maybe there could be some sort of like connectivity like added in, like where like if you see a member that you really like their playstyle, or you see top rated players being consistent, like you could then apply to their guild, or like try to group up with them or challenge them or whatever, like through the website itself. Like that's a really good idea. Like that I hadn't even thought about. Like we were just thinking numbers, but yeah, if we could tie in the community, the guilds, like into that, that's probably something that's really, really a good idea as well.
Yeah,
Ooh, I have another suggestion too that I'm sure a lot of our community would be here. Can you guys look into opening up the server on more Philippines friendly times? I know like a lot of our guys, poor Bibbs was like at 3 a.m., 6 a.m. still grinding it out there. A lot of our guys, they're like, we want to play, but we're up so late. In our chat, it's just yes.
Yeah, I mean, as people start showing up, obviously that's, something that we can curtail. We are mindful of that. We understand that we definitely need to have more friendly versions. Like, I was actually happy to see, like, a lot of times people have been congregating on US East, right? And a lot of people were just playing on US East. But this last free-for-all session, we had a bunch of people playing on the Asian, like, the Asian bracket or whatever, which was good. I'm hoping to see that expand out into other ones. And yeah, 100%, we need to look into some time frames that are friendly. Obviously, for the YGG event, we'll keep that in mind as well. Yeah, like if you guys know like a certain like time frame that your community like favors, like give us that information and we'll try to like do what we can to like incorporate that at least in some overlap. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely we hear that.
Hey, finally, thank you, Fallen, for that suggestion. I can finally play. Yes, because yeah, the people right now on AMA discussion are telling no sleep at all. What is sleep? And yeah, and they still grind the game even though it's really late, and it is a good testament on how good the game really is. So yeah,
There's
I
some
really
fun
couldn't compliment
commentary in the
the game so
Discord.
much. I've been praising the game a lot of times already, but it really deserves my praise. So props to everyone.
Agreed. Yeah. There's a lot of fans here in the YGG Discord. Everyone is dropping some pretty funny comments here. No sleep at all. We feel sick when we can't play Champions Ascension. Time frame's killing us. We love the game. So, a lot of folks here enjoy the game and want to play, but the times are difficult depending on the region, right? So, yeah, Southeast Asia, they need a server, or they need a game slot time every once in a while.
All right, beautiful. Yeah, I'll bring that back to the team. I'll write it up as soon as we're done here today.
Yeah, these goes to show how dedicated the community is to playing, because they're sacrificing their sleep just to play. So yeah, I
Grinding.
think this is a testament that the YGT community is having a great time playing Champions Ascension. So we hope to play more with the YG community and outside as well, other guilds.
Well, then again, that just goes to show, right? Our knights showed up to that world first, even though that world first was literally like it was a little bit of a handicap to them because they're playing like 3 a.m. in the morning trying to compete for that, right?
Yeah, for
It was a
sure.
good
I mean
time, yeah.
yeah, hopefully as like different events move around, we'll be able to focus on that. Obviously the 3XP, we were kind of at the mercy of, like where that was like actually located for that one. But we'll definitely be mindful of that in like non-showcase style events. I mean, 100%, there's no reason that we can't open a slice, like in the middle of the night for us, for you guys, like obviously, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, maybe another thing that I noticed. So we have that Keymaster tournament coming up. How did these tournaments, are these tournaments launched by specifically the champions team, or is it like anybody can launch a tournament themselves?
So anybody can launch a tournament. We actually haven't even needed to put on many tournaments ourselves because so many people are reaching out. They want to do tournaments, they want to set stuff up, that we're just like trying to book everything that you guys are coming up with. So like, I mean, if there's a group of people that want to do a tournament, like want to have specifics, come to me. I'll direct you to, whoever we need to talk to set that up. It's definitely something that is like open, like I think that we have like 2 more coming up on the docket that are not even like, our team based, so it's definitely opened up.
Okay,
I'm
guys,
really
time to
nice.
push for YGG badge holders tournament only.
I love that there's so many community collabs. It's really like from the ground up, just getting everybody involved who's supporting the game. So it's good to see.
Actually,
Yeah, I mean,
Blake, just a question out of curiosity. Are you guys planning anytime in the future, like an in real life event wherein people can actually get like limited stuff, like limited NFTs, like on the early days of some of the games, they actually give out like rare items or such, and you need to be on the physical event. So, are you guys planning like a big physical event, attending an expo or something, or just a community gathering for people?
as far as community events go, like in-person ones, we haven't really considered too many outside of the United States, unfortunately, just because of where like the team is located. I will say that there's been some talk of maybe going out to colleges or high schools and checking into like esports teams, like groups like that they have like set up. Like a lot of these teams now are like starting to form in the colleges, starting to form in the high schools. We'd like to get to the roots of some of those, like, and put the game in the mix of something that people are playing. Obviously, if we did that, there is like talk of like distribution of some swag, like NFTs and things like that. If there was any sort of like large event, like 3XP, was pretty big event. If there's some large Asian-based event, I wouldn't be surprised if the team like tried to come out there and like do some sort of distribution. But as it stands, we don't have any like community team that is like readily available in the Asian like realm. So like, you know, I can't speak to what might happen there, but in the United States, it's definitely been considered.
Yeah, I think you guys are your team's pretty focused on making sure the product is up to top notch before you really start pushing a lot of these different events there, which is usually the best route, right? It's not always the best thing to do. It's like if you're still polishing and stuff, and then you have to pull people away to go to events and stuff, right? And that delays things.
Yeah, we're trying to find a balance. I mean, the example of like Old Sally, like that was put up on stage with like, you know, not a lot of like testing as far as like the like other outside team went. Obviously, like some internal team was testing, but you know, it's a little risk versus reward, right? You got to get it out there. You know, if you don't ever get it out there, like people are just waiting. Like we've seen, I think everyone in here can attest to the Web3. We're building this. We're building this. We're building this. You'll see, like, you know, it tends to happen. So we're trying to find the you know, the balance. We're trying to throw some stuff out there, you know, see what it sticks, like, or see what sticks. Like, obviously, you know, that's why we have to be open to feedback, because we're shipping stuff a little bit early, you know.
Nice.
Actually, you mentioned some of really few interesting points there a while ago. You were mentioning that you guys are planning to go around in the US, go to colleges and high schools and meet some of the teams that they are doing for esports. So I'm actually quite interested on how you guys are planning for esports. So do you guys have like a roadmap or like a general idea on what esports should look like for Champions Ascension, even in general or just the bigger picture as of now? Because if I'm not mistaken, you can actually do like 1v1s, 3v3s, and 5v5s, right? So maybe sometime in the future you can also do guild versus guilds or what. So depending on the capability and the ability to launch it by the developers, right? So esports on the get-go, like on the launch itself, how is it gonna be? How is it gonna look like?
I thought of the focus for like groups that we reached out to for colleges would be heavily 1v1 and 3v3 focused, since that is what we have probably the most control over balancing quickly. That's probably the things that we have the most control over, like staging wise. You know, it's a lot easier to stage like a 3v3 than like entire guilds like battling and things like that. The PvE element, I think we want to do more infrequent but big events like the 3xp. Like, you know, if we focused on those, like it wouldn't really like mesh well if we were traveling around like trying to get everybody set up for one event. But like the 3v3s and 1v1s, like we can do on like a per like school basis, you know what I mean? Like if we wanted to stay at a school for a week or stay at a school for 2 weeks or whatever, and like focused on their certain like realm, we could do that, you know what I mean? We could do that really well with 1v1 and 3v3. So I would say that's when we're traveling around for anything that's going to be based on like esports related things.
Nice, nice, and really looking forward to it. I'm actually really interested on how esports is gonna look like, and also maybe just a suggestion on my end. Maybe you guys can actually implement a really difficult boss on the game, like something that you can't really beat until you really put everything, all the efforts in the world on it. Like I've been watching an anime, like they added a boss there on that anime, and um that boss shouldn't is designed to be unbeatable, and a party was able to clear it, and it actually gives people a lot of pure crafting, a lot of time to think about, and I think this is what makes most of the gamers stay on a certain game, the
Yeah.
challenge aspect. Like if you have something that no one has ever cleared and you are still up for grab on clearing it the first time, it's actually a really prestigious moment for you alone and on your party alone. So
It elevates your game, honestly, having a hardcore mode, even if it's like extraordinary challenging where like only a handful of teams or people can beat it in the world. It helps everybody else progress. It's very like, you know, it's just something that everybody wants to attempt to beat, right? And be
yeah.
one of those people that, hey, I've defeated this. And then maybe there's a badge or some type of recognition like within the game, right? And yeah, it would just be like that one mode where everybody is just really trying to conquer. It'd be cool.
I mean, yeah, like did you guys see the wall like recently for Old Sally, like near Old Sally? Did you see like how we like honored the people that beat it for the first time? They all had their little like pictures up on the wall and things like that. Yeah, that's definitely something we want to lean into. And again, like a lot of these people that are designing the game have, followed WoW, have played a lot of WoW, and one of the things that I'd like to see us embrace is definitely like, they have like the normal mode, the whatever, the mythic, all that stuff. Like I would definitely like to have some different like challenge levels for sure. I think that, the very first one that we had come out, I think that we needed to be a little bit careful for it being like too hard, you know what I mean? Because it's already very competitive when it comes to 1v1 and 3v3, right? If you come in and you're just getting smashed all the time, there's like less of a draw. So like you need to have like something that's a little bit like geared towards like a little more casual. But I definitely think that we're going to be tweaking a lot of the aspects of like even Old Sally and having different challenges come up, like different weeks or whatever, just like how we have focuses on like 3v3, like certain weeks, like double tickets or whatever. We'll probably have events for Old Sally that are like her in-range timer is like 5 times faster, or you can't use like any of these players at all, or there's no healing bubbles like whatsoever. That's all stuff that we're definitely like looking into. As you can kind of see, like from the first like iteration of Old Sally, like we had like X amount of prizes, right? So the information that we have for Old Sally like starts with like just this bit of information. We're using this information to do prizes. We're going to expand on all that. So as we have like more information and more things that we can track, that'll help us get more creative with the challenges that we can do, the challenges we can reward, and like what pain points that we can add, for like things to be difficult.
Nice. Yeah, I was just gonna mention that like if the different difficulties for Old Sally or whatever raid boss you introduce would have like different challenges within that arena that you face, or like more spills and like you mentioned, enrage quickly and all these different aspects. So that would be cool if we beef it up and have a few different modes. And of course you spread the rewards or whatever recognition aspects there are on the leaderboards too. So it would be cool.
Yeah, maybe we want to touch on this. Blake, I'm not sure if you're too familiar with what YGG has in terms of the gap rewards here. I know we've talked a little bit about rewards and stuff like that. Are you familiar with our guild achievement program by chance?
I have not like seen the information that you guys are as far as guild achievements, unfortunately. I know that somebody had like 2 people had completed them, right? Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
Like 2 people like yesterday
Yeah,
or
so
something were able to complete them all?
Well, our group did. So we work with
Okay.
we've been working with the Champions devs here, and sometimes these are actually suggested by our community itself. Right? We had the world first one, which unfortunately we weren't able to capture that. Our knights are very close; they were in the running there, but that was the big pool. But we have these other 2 right now. One for winning 10 3v3s, which is pretty easy. Give or take, once the 3v3s are up a little longer, and then we had one for Old Sally, which is if your whole team clears it without dying. That's the one that we got yesterday, because we managed to not die. So we have these for various games, where again, all you got to do is join the website. You create an account and then you enroll in these quests, and people can participate and earn rewards. So you could earn a little bit of YGG. You also get a really cool badge. Sempu, could you actually go in there? Does it show the badge you get with that one, or is that a placeholder right now? It's probably a placeholder. Yeah, maybe you can go back to one of the other seasons so Blake can get an idea. Like, so these are what we call soulbound NFTs. So again, they're not tradable, but it ties into this idea of we want, just like every other game, whether it's World of Warcraft or that, they have like little achievements, right, where it kind of shows your progress through the game or the lifetime in here. Well, we're trickling that to like over a guild, a library of different games. So, different artwork for all kinds of different games here. And the idea is going down the road, we'll be able to look back at somebody's wallet and be like, hey, this person it has every esports badge, like they should definitely be one of our esports players. Or hey, this person, again, we have community achievements as well, right? So being a community manager for YGG, or a game ambassador, right? So it's not just limited to gameplay itself. We have social aspect, anything that provides value to YGG itself, right? Whether that's a social aspect, art, playing game wise, we have achievements for those, and this library is ever growing and moving, and then people are getting rewarded for their effort. And it also gives us kind of a library of like, hey, this person's been doing this, they can prove that they've been doing this, we want them to go in. And this is open to anybody, right? So if the wardens want to participate in that those two achievements, right, which they could probably get real easy. They've probably done it. I wanted to put this on your radar. You can obviously participate as well. All they got to do is come on the YGG website, create an account. It doesn't cost anything, and they can participate in obviously all the Champions quests. But they also, if they have other web-free games that they're interested in, or maybe they don't even know about, they can participate as well.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, and how awesome is that stuff for like other marketers or stuff? If a game could come in here and see like, oh man, this guy like loves card games. Like this guy smashes all the achievements they do for card games. Like let's target this guy for some whitelists or some content creation. Like I love it. Yeah,
Exactly. So I know the Wardens are very heavily involved. Why wouldn't they come in and get some of that and be ingrained in the community as well, right?
Yep. I like this
Absolutely.
on-chain like reputation building aspect. It's great, man.
Yeah.
Like YGG has been innovating like since the start, and this is like a program that I think has been really fun for the community, and it gives you that value layer too, where you can actually prove your accomplishments and credentials across different YGG initiatives. So I'm loving it so far. It's only just
Yeah,
getting
like,
started too. This is like third season, right?
You like walk into Discord with like all of your like badges, held up here, just strutting around, looking all good, showing off everything you've earned. Yeah, you love it. You love it. Love to see it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and again, this is only the first iteration. We really want to pull like communities like Wardens and yourself that have a lot more knowledge about the game. So obviously these are the quests we have for this season, but next season, if you guys have done the gap, maybe you come to like fall right to me and you're like, hey, we have these ideas for quests. Can you implement these? Like, we would really love to see these. And if they're feasible, right? And it works even better with Champions because we're already working with them so much with their API. I'm already thinking of like how many different quests we could actually have going within Champions because we have that back end access to the API already from your dev team.
Yeah, I love it. And we're only adding more and more and more information that's being gleaned from all these like encounters. So yeah, the ideas are going to be endless soon.
Yeah, so definitely wanted to put that on your radar here before we start getting into the wrap up, and let the Wardens know, because they've been really great too. When we were hopping in there, it was one of the, I think, the leaders of the Wardens. He was chatting in the general chat there in game, just like, oh, it's so great to see YGG coming in here, like really happy to have some fresh competition. So they've been really inviting. I want to pass that back to them and say like, hey, we'd love to have you guys ingrained in our community as well.
Nice. There's one thing that I want to highlight before we like. Absolutely appreciate it, Blake. Loving it. But before we roll into the wrap up, there's one other thing I want to highlight that Champions Ascension has been doing really well, in my opinion, is this whole moving forward into the Polygon transition and that migration. The way you guys are doing it, like I know it's taking place on the 26th, so you've got just over a week before it goes live. But when you hit the landing page for all the details here, for folks that have champions they want to prepare for this event, it's basically entwined into a story. It's not like a static blockchain delivery of information. It is like the winds of Gauss have opened a portal to new exciting worlds, and it like gamifies the migration experience to Polygon and kind of gives you a taste of what it has to offer and how it will benefit the community and the gaming experience in a storytelling way. So I love that it actually entices gamers, right? It gets them interested in learning about what's going on because it's tied into the story. So I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and it's we're really hoping that Polygon will unlock the ability to like cater to the more casual gamer, right? Like on ETH, it's like somebody has to win a really big prize for it to be worth it. It makes no sense to be transferring stuff around if it's only worth like a few dollars or whatever. But the idea that you can like grind on some stuff in Polygon and just pay like a cent or whatever to actually achieve something that's like usable, movable, sellable, like on a lower scale is awesome. It's going to unlock so many other ideas that we have that we're kind of like priced out of right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, agreed. It's good stuff.
Yeah, guys. So before we actually officially wrap up the AMA, we actually have prepared a video highlights of I think some of the players in the YGG community doing the 3v3 and all Sally. So we have a highlight prepared. So let's watch that video first. Then any last few questions before we actually close out would be entertained after the video. So let's go, Senfu.
Well played, guys.
Awesome, awesome. So basically, this is a Munchies highlight video. Munchies is like just running around and destroying a lot of people on the PvP, and old Sally, they were doing it a piece of cake. And yeah, it is one of the one of the few things that is in store for us for Champions Ascension, and definitely we're going to see a lot more in the future and moving forward with how the game is progressing so far, and we are really excited on what's the future is gonna hold for the game itself. So once again, thank you so much, Blake, for your time and for all the leaks and the questions that you have answered for the entire YGG community, and also props to everyone who made this show possible. Us, the Marshall, Senpu, Noesel, Spawn Corps, AC, Sedano, and everyone on the YGG Discord channel as of the moment. So, Blake, I'm giving you a few moments to share any closing remarks or any closing message before we actually close out the stream.
Yeah, I mean, like I said it earlier, I just want to be sure that everyone knows like how much of an open door like Champions is for like feedback and communication. I can't tell you like how many different like people I've gotten to talk to, like even in the 3 weeks that I've been here, and I love every bit of it. Like bringing that stuff to the devs is it's just so important. Like if you want the game to be one way, you think this is going to be a lot more fun, like I want to hear from you. Like I'll take calls with you, I'll watch your streams, like whatever stuff that I can do to make sure that this game goes where it goes to the top, like I'm gonna do. So come in Discord and open a ticket at me, and I just want to make sure that everybody knows like I'll what language barriers doesn't matter, we'll figure it out, we'll translate. I just want everybody to know that they have somebody to talk to. Okay, so that's just first and foremost, and I'm hoping to see everyone in Massina soon.
Awesome, awesome. So if you guys haven't joined their Discord yet, it's gonna be on the screen anytime soon. So please definitely join their Discord channel if you have any suggestion, any questions, or any ideas that will skyrocket Champions Ascension to the top and be the one of the best games so far on the Web3. And this has been a really amazing week for our game spotlight. Champions Ascension definitely set its standards on all the games that we have spotlight so far, and we are already excited on the next few games that we are going to tackle on our game spotlight. So this is gonna be it, and we are about to close out our AMA right now. And this is Sil, and see you on the next episode of our game spotlight. See you guys around the YGG community, and peace out. Bye, guys.
Together we play.
Cheers.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
together we play.
Peace.